Hey guys, Kenny here, Ken Small Engines. Just a quick tip. When you're working on a log splitter, I've never worked on this brand before, Dirty Hand Tools it's called. Pretty robust splitter. It's got a Kohler 3000 series engine on it, but one thing you could see, I had to jack up the front of it a little bit to get it level. You want to get it level in both directions, both this way and that way. Okay? You got to get it level in both directions. If you get it level just in the front to back, okay, if you get it level front to back, it could be tilting up or down, and that'll give you false readings for your oil level. And on these, the way to check it, you don't screw the oil cap in. You unscrew the cap, and there's a cap on both sides. You take it out and you rotate it counterclockwise till it goes click, just like you do on a Honda. Then you check it. You do not screw it in. But guys, make sure you're level in both directions. This thing here, I had it in the driveway initially and it was level in this direction, but in the other direction it was tilted at least 6 inches. So make sure it's tilted correct in both directions before you check and before you refill your oil. This one was overfilled by about half a quart. So I am changing the oil. I drained it out till it was the right level, and then I actually smelled it. It didn't smell like fuel, but it seemed like fuel was leaking, so maybe the needle and seat is leaking. So I let it sit for a while, and I opened up the drain plug, let it sit, and you know, after a while no fuel came out, so I'm assuming it's sealing now. So I'm gonna tell the guy though, keep track of the oil level. If you see that it's going high, 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 bring it back and we'll put a needle and seat in it, because at this point I want to make sure that that needle and seat isn't leaking. It isn't leaking for me right now, but I just want to make sure it isn't leaking for this guy. And these things have their very small fuel lines right there, which is only like a 5/16 OD, and trying to fit a 1/4 inch fuel shutoff on that line is a pain in the butt. So I just want to make sure this needle and seat isn't leaking for the guy. It runs great, and like I said, make sure it's level. Put the oil in at 1030 is recommended in these engines, and we'll give it back to the guy, and hopefully he'll be happy, and away he'll go. All right guys, that's it for now. Make sure your engine is perfectly level when you're checking oil, especially on these log splitters. They have these stands in front. When you put them down, they actually tilt, and you want to make sure it's perfectly level in both directions. All right, that's it for me guys. We'll talk to you soon. Man, I must be getting old or just tired. I was talking about the fuel shutoff of this little line, how the 1/4 inch doesn't fit in here. We don't need it, because there it is. The engines that are the Honda clones always have a fuel shutoff attached to the carburetor, so you don't have to add one in the fuel line. It's right there. So I'm going to recommend to this guy that he shuts off the fuel every time he doesn't run it, so that way he avoids it. So if the needle and seat is in fact leaking, it shouldn't really matter as long as he shuts the fuel off when it's not running. So I'll tell that to that guy. And if you see those in the Chondas and you don't have time to replace the needle and seat, or the guy doesn't want to do it, just shut off the fuel. Simple fix. All right guys, talk to you soon. One more guys, if you want to not have oil leak all over the place on these Honda clones or even the Hondas, tilt the engine a little bit back when you're filling the oil. That way you got a little bit of an angle on there, and you know these engines take 20 ounces, so you put 19 in, you check it, you fill it as needed, and you're done. If you try and do it when the engine's level, it tends to want to burble out on you, and it doesn't really go in so well. So tilt the engine back a little bit, then do your oil. All right guys, that's it. We'll talk to you soon. All right, I know I'm gonna get the questions. Kenny, what did you mean? Click the threads. I don't know what you mean. Well, on a Honda or on these engines or any of the Honda clones, what I mean is you take the dipstick, you wipe it off, make sure it's clean, you stick it in, you rotate it counterclockwise, click, you'll feel that first thread click in. Then you check it, and as you can see, it's totally full. And with these engines too, because of the way they're designed, if you fill it up to where it just dribbles out, let it dribble out until it doesn't dribble anymore with the engine level, it's the same level, that's good. So if your dipstick is broken or it doesn't work correctly or you don't know how it works, whatever, you can fill it up to the last thread when the engine's level, it's the same. So just for those who want to know what I meant by counterclockwise and click it. Now keep in mind guys, these Chinesium engines have 2 of these dipsticks. There's one in the front and there's one in the back. that sometimes you don't ever look at or you don't ever see. Well, you really need to see it, because sometimes those dipsticks that are hidden, like that one there in the front where you can't really see it, are loose. And when they get loose, they leak oil. And they leak oil, no bueno, blown engine. So make sure you check your oil level every time you use your engine. Make sure it's level, make sure the engine's level, make sure you check both dipsticks to be tight. All right, guys, finally, I think that's it for this video. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, this is turning into the video that keeps on giving. A lot of times homeowners, they run these things, and I noticed the cylinder was leaking slightly, okay? And homeowners never check the fluid, the hydraulic fluid, and the tank is between the wheels. That is the actual tank. It forms the axle's welded to it. Anyway, I look and I go, where the hell's the breather? The breather's broken off, and the breather is how you unscrew it. And this thing was on there pretty darn tight. So I took a vice grip and I ended up unscrewing it with a vice grip, and it looks like someone tried to drill a hole, or I don't know, Rube Goldberg, something or other. Anyway, so I unscrewed it, and it's got a fill mark, and basically it's not even up to the minimum. I mean, this guy is seriously low on fluid. He's got about a ½ inch in there. There should be at least 1 inch to almost 3 inches of fluid in there. So it's got the recommendation of what fluid to use on here. There's a Dextron fluid or a viscosity grade 68, like a VG68 or a VG40. It's just standard hydraulic fluid. So I'm going to tell him, I'm assuming he got this at a Tractor Supply, because the guy's from Newtown. So I'm going to tell him to go to Tractor Supply, and it takes 2.5 gallons is what it says. Actually, let's see what we got here. The capacity, it says, is 5 gallon. So maximum is hard to read that. Maximum 6.5, I think. Operational capacity is 5. Well, guys, I don't think this thing has 5 in it. So I'm going to tell him it works. I mean, I had it on and I actually cycled it. It does work. But, you know, when I looked at the parts manual, I was like, wait a minute, there's supposed to be a breather cap on that. It broke off. He broke it off and not me. So I'm going to tell him before he runs it to actually go out and go to Tractor Supply, get some hydraulic fluid, fill it up, use the dipstick, and order the dipstick. I'll give him the part number. I'll look online and I'll give him the part number. And I think they're out of stock, to be honest. I looked it up and it looks like they're out of stock like most parts, but he can use this as long as he doesn't tighten the hell out of it so he can't, you know, loosen it. You know, use a vice grip or something. You don't want it too tight, but you want it tight enough to seal, you know, but it's a breather. So if it's a little loose, it's going to breathe anyway. So it's not going to hurt it, but he should have the breather on there. So, all right, now this is the end of this video, I promise. So hope you guys learned something. Hey, like, subscribe to my channel, join my chat on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, US, which is 1 o'clock p.m. UK time for a lot of my UK friends. All right, and I promise, that's it. It's the end of the video. Part 5 or whatever it was, we're done. I'm done. He's coming to get it. I'm going to show him what to do. I'm going to get paid, and on to the next one. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.